Welcome to another episode of the Wedding Vendor Show, where we chat with local wedding vendors. I'm Josh from Evermore Films, the host of the Wedding Vendor Show. And we also have a wedding vendor directory on our website where we have over 1,000 local vendors listed. And David, who's on our show today, is one of our vendors. He's new to the show and new to the directory, just got listed in the last week or so. So we always love to chat with local wedding vendors, whether we've worked together or not. So in this case, David from DGO Entertainment, DGO Entertainment, is a DJ for clubs and private events. He's a new member to our directory, and he expressed interest in being on the show, so we wanted to have him on and get to know him a little bit and let him get to know us. And so, yeah, welcome to the show, David.
Thanks for having me, Josh. It's an honor to be here. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for joining up to be on the show. I know it's always a little nerve-wracking to jump on camera in front of an audience of people. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So I'm a DJ basically. So wedding DJ. Sorry that I'm a little nervous, but yeah, wedding DJ.
It's all good. It's all good, David.
Yeah, it's up until that moment. I was gonna ask you about that. So wedding DJ, club DJ, basically offer services of MCing, all the works for wedding, quinceañeras, backyard parties, birthdays, all that stuff. But yeah, basically to simplify it, just a DJ and everything that comes with it, anything that we don't have or provide, we can always outsource it, specifically something that you're interested in and stuff like that. We can always make it work for you. But yeah, we focus on clubs and private events, basically.
Very cool. Yeah. And I know this is the first chance you and I have had to talk other than a quick chat on Instagram, which kind of led to this interview. So tell us a little bit about how long you've been doing this. Is this kind of your first go into DJing, or you've been at this for a minute?
Yeah. No, we've been doing this for a minute. Like I was telling you the other day, we were just having a little kind of like chat, we were setting this up and everything. We had a chance to go over it. But yeah, in total, I've been DJing for about like 10 years, more or less. About 7 professionally.
Okay.
So yeah, like doing weddings and backyard events and birthdays and all that stuff. About 7 years, maybe. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So have you always done weddings, club? Like, have you kind of always done weddings and clubs and private events, or how did that work?
Yeah. No, funny enough. So I started DJing because I really like, kind of like EDM music and stuff like that. Somebody gave me once a CD, my friend, what's his name? My friend, Timmy, actually, Timmy Grillis, I used to work with him. He's like, hey, here's a CD, whatever. And then it was an EDM CD and I fell in love with it. So my love for DJing, grew up from EDM music and all that stuff. So that's how I started doing it. Started getting interested in producing music, making music and stuff like that, playing with software, all that stuff, right? But then I moved to Bakersfield and I had equipment with me already. I had already bought new equipment and stuff, and I was selling some. And I met some DJs like that, trying to buy my equipment.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, hey, you want to come DJ with us, blah, blah, blah. And there were Hispanic DJs. I'm Hispanic myself. I was actually born and raised in Mexico.
Okay.
So
I mean, that's handy in California, being like totally bilingual and fully understanding, both sides of the culture and stuff.
Bakersfield is a party city, man. I come from the area, from Ventura, Santa Barbara area. I used to work in Santa Barbara and lived in Ventura, lived in Santa Barbara as well, Oxnard.
Okay.
And the party culture in Bakersfield is just really out there compared to those places out there. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the setup or I don't know what it is.
Right. But the weather's better there.
Yes. Yeah. You'd think.
Why did you come to if you were on the coast, why did you come to Bakersfield?
It's so expensive, man. It's so expensive. At the time we were just going through like a little, hiccup, it was just kind of, it's hills and valleys, so we were a little bit of a, valley position. So we came to the valley and,
so you got stuck in the valley.
Yeah. And I like to hear, there's a lot you can do, your money is just lasts longer. You know what I mean? You get more bang for your buck. I mean, and, so we came to Bakersfield. And so I started doing parties with these guys. I started learning. Funny enough, I'm Mexican, I'm Hispanic, but I wasn't really like a party people, going to parties and stuff like that. So I started learning a
Okay.
lot with these guys and a lot of the Spanish music and stuff like that. I thought I knew, but no, like you have to get the
Yeah.
experience, you have to be there, and so yeah, that's how I started doing, private events. We started doing like little backyard parties, some dusty house out in the middle of nowhere, you know what I mean? Charging
Oh yeah.
almost nothing, you know what I mean? Some of my friends, I even DJ for them for free, but it was just kind of getting the experience and stuff like that. And I started getting, decent at it to where people started like, coming back and hiring me again and again and again. And at some point, I was able to quit my job and basically start doing, full time
Nice.
full time DJing and stuff. So
So how long have you been
um,
full time?
full time, probably maybe like 4 or 5 years. Yeah,
Nice. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So 4 or 5 years full time, and
Hmm.
then but just as much time part time before that. Sounds like.
Yeah,
So that's cool. I mean, that's a great like kind of get into it. So
yeah.
I have to ask, what did you do before?
Before, I did all kinds of things. Really,
Okay.
I was all over the place. When I came here to Bakersfield, I never thought I would be doing this, but I did a lot of farm work here in Bakersfield.
Okay.
That's what's
Yeah.
popping here in Bakersfield. So
Yeah.
I got an opportunity to work farm labor. I did that here. In Bakersfield, I mean, in Ventura and stuff like that. I used to work in restaurants and stuff. I was a manager at a restaurant.
Nice.
But then again, I didn't really have time to do DJing because I was the main
Right.
person at a restaurant. So um, yeah, so it actually worked out pretty well because doing farm labor, schedules are not as um, they're more flexible. So I was able to do DJing pretty well, and if I needed to miss a day or whatever, they were pretty flexible with it. So it worked out perfectly.
That's great.
Um, af- After a while, I just kind of got tired of it, and I was like, okay, I think I can do DJing full time. I was already doing pretty well DJing though. Like throughout this whole time, it didn't take very long for me to start getting weekly gigs. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So I was pretty busy off the bat. I don't know what I was doing right, and I think it's just maybe just Bakersfield that has a lot of parties, and I was just, busy. You know what I mean? But I decided to leave. I was already pretty busy, and I decided to leave work after like about 2 or 3 years after I started. Mhm.
Okay. So um, obviously, being part of the Evermore Wedding Vendor Directory, it's not just
Yeah,
weddings. It's the Wedding Vendor Directory, but I mean, it's all kinds of events, but
it's all kinds of stuff.
but weddings are the focus. So,
Yeah. Hmm.
talk to us a little bit about your experience in weddings. Like I know you've done a lot on the party side. Tell us about the wedding side.
Yeah, yeah. Weddings, they're a different animal, man.
Yes, they are.
For
I've been
you
doing it for
know, and
over 20 years, so I know.
but I like them though. Now I like them. I used to fear them. I used to
Hmm.
fear them a lot because my background, I didn't really attend too many parties in my past, so I wasn't really familiar with um, what it took to do a wedding. You can watch all the tutorials you can on YouTube, but ultimately, experience it's what's gonna make you um, stand out from, or actually, get you through, and also make you stand out from the rest of the people, the rest of DJs or
Yeah.
competitors. So yeah, I was afraid, dude. I was so afraid of doing weddings by myself that I used to always have to have somebody with me, and I'd be so scared to do them, and even just talk on the mic, being an MC,
Oh yeah.
stuff like that.
That's
So
a learned skill.
uh, definitely, and coming from my background, I had like super like crippling anxiety. You know what I mean? Sometimes I feel like I'll be like passing out or something. You know what I mean? But you have to pull through,
Yeah.
and somehow I still did a great job. Because it's not just me saying, I don't want to blow smoke up my back. You know what I mean? But you do get good compliments from people, and you're like, okay, it's just kind of relieving because after all the stress, all that, you find out that you did a good job, so it's pretty great. But starting on weddings, I started small again. You know, I'll tell you a
Yeah.
good story.
Yeah, yeah.
One of
We,
my
we
first,
we love stories. Tell us a good story.
I'll tell you a good story. And it's just for some people out there, I'm pretty sure they can identify themselves, with this. But my very first wedding that I had with this one guy that I know, he's like an older DJ, older Mexican guy. He's pretty old school, and as far as like the way he uses his gear and then his technique and stuff like that. Um, and First wedding that I had, I was using everything was new for me. First of all, you use your equipment,
Right.
um, and everything's kind of new, so a lot of problems will surface. Um, and at this wedding, I had, we had a. It was one of those weddings where like nothing was really programmed or anything. That wasn't really like a
Yeah.
schedule or like a timeline or anything. And it was just kind of like, hey, we're gonna do our first dance. But by the way, we want this song, and it's like, okay,
Right.
I'm like typing it in,
On the fly.
you
Yeah.
know. And I had this software. It's called, I don't know if some DJs know about this software, but it's called DJ. It's by algorithm, and it works with Spotify, and it works with internet. So you can type in your name, the name of the song, whatever, and it downloads it. Nowadays, a lot of softwares do this, but back then it was kind of a brand new thing. So I'm like looking for the song. I load it on my deck, and then I notice that it's kind of like loading, and we're almost ready
Uh-huh.
to go. And then I'm like, oh my God. And for some reason, I don't know what the heck I did. I don't know if it was my fault or not. And I don't know if I like re-uploaded, reloaded it again, or I don't know what the heck happened. But when I was playing the song, middle of the first dance, it just stops, and starts
Oh.
skipping. And I get booed. And we're like, and Mexican people have
Oh.
no chill, man.
Right.
I mean, and then like booing me and my friend were just looking at each other like, oh shoot, like what the heck. But it was a great, building experience. It was a building character experience. You know what I mean? Because now what not to do. And from that day
Yeah.
on, I just stopped using that software, and I started like literally went back to the drawing board about like how I'm gonna work my system, so it's more fail proof. You know what I mean? But that
Well,
was my first wedding.
but what
Yeah,
you said right there, you made a mistake and then you learn from it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's, I mean, that's the key for any wedding vendor, for any human being on the planet. Like when we make
yeah,
mistakes, we learn from them. It's those who don't learn from the mistakes and keep repeating them, that's when we have a
yeah,
problem. So yeah, I mean gosh, there's always
yeah,
something, and I
yeah.
mean, even like doing weddings for 20 years, I'll
Hmm.
show up at like last year we had a handful of probably half a dozen weddings where they did something
Right.
we'd never seen before. And I'm like, okay, that's new. We just got to pivot on the fly and, like just, I mean, like Catholic wedding ceremonies, like the priest would do something like totally different that I've never seen a priest anywhere do. And you're just like,
Uh,
okay, I guess we're doing it like that. And you just have to like pivot in the middle of recording and just like, okay, we're gonna go over there and do this instead of how it's normally
right.
done for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
It's just there's always something new. And
Okay.
that's a good thing, and it's nice that things stay fresh.
Right.
Even if sometimes you're like, oh, I wish I would have known that ahead of time. It's like, well, at
Right.
least
Right.
it's not the same thing that's happened for the last 300 years and it's never changed because it
Yeah.
is nice, when things change.
Of course. Yeah. And me, I'll just try to nowadays. I just embrace that. I just embrace the fact that I don't know what's gonna happen because every wedding and every event is different. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I just embrace it. Before I used to try to get as much info, well, I still do, but there's a limit to how much info I can get out of the client.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that now. I just ask, the basic questions. We do give them a questionnaire, you know, but also they don't know all these things. They don't have the answers to all these things. Sometimes they barely even know their first dance song until
Right.
like the day before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If sometimes even the day off. You think that an event of this, budget, and how everything is organized, they would know some of these things, but they don't. That's fine. I just learned to go with that, and I think part of being a professional and being an expert is knowing that it's anticipating, all these things, and just knowing that it's okay. I can handle it. You know what I mean? Like it's okay if you don't have your song, yet. I can handle it. I have ways. I have my ways of doing. I've had people at the ceremony telling me, "Hey, so did you get this many songs?" I'm like, "No, I only got this many, but hey, let me figure it out. We'll make it happen." You know
Right,
what I mean?
right.
And that just comes with experience and with professionalism too. I mean, it's not gonna be like, "Oh my God, you didn't tell me." Of
Right,
course
right.
not. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, you people, can you please let me know? I'm like, no, of course not. It'd be like, all right, let me see what I can do, and then give me a few minutes, and we'll handle it. But
Yeah,
I just learned
absolutely.
too that every single event is going to be different, and there's probably going to be something new that you've never seen before, or a new situation, something like that. Something's going to happen for sure.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Well, David, before we break for the next segment,
Hmm.
if you could just tell me what you
Hmm.
feel like sets you apart as a DJ company, as
Hmm.
couples, or potential clients are kind of considering different DJs,
Hmm.
what would you say to them to say, "Hey, pick me"?
Um, I hate to sell myself like that because I don't know. I'm pretty. Um, I always tell my clients, go look at my comments. Go look at my reviews, because it's hard for me to compliment myself a lot and be like, and not feel like a little bit what do you call it? Can you hear me? Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah, we're good. Just
my
a little
AirPods
mic
came out.
drop.
Yeah, yeah, like that. Right?
Right.
So it's hard for me to do that sometimes. So I just tell my clients, hey, go look at some of my reviews on my website or my TikTok or something like that. I do hear from clients that I'm pretty good at being flexible. You know what I mean? And not, like I said, if something happens, not taking things too I don't know, too harsh. You know what I mean? I try to stay positive, throughout the whole event, and be pretty um what do you call it, like kind of like treating them as like as one of your own kind of thing, as like almost if you knew them in a good way. Let's say, hey, like very approachable. I'm very approachable when it comes down to that. um I have a lot of experience too. One thing I should say is that I really specialize. I can do pretty much any event. Any DJ that has some sort of experience. You can throw them anything and they'll figure it out.
Right, right.
Um, but I do see a trend and a pattern on a lot of DJs, and that's just kind of like your specialty, of events. I saw like a Christian DJ the other day that you were interviewing, and they do a lot of Christian events and stuff like that. I do a lot of bilingual events,
Okay.
so a lot of Spanish, English, so I'm almost always the perfect DJ to do that, because I can cater to both. I do DJ clubs as well. Um, and I have knowledge of a lot of English music. Of course, I'm on this, but I also go really deep into the Spanish, Hispanic, also Mexican music, and it's so vast and so big and so rich. But I know a lot of that kind of music. So when it comes out to DJing, um, the main thing, it's obviously music. I know it sounds cliche and everything, but that's just what it is. It is cliche for a reason.
Well,
So
that is perfect. So,
right,
yeah, yeah.
right. So I focus on the DJing and on the vibe of the event. What kind of, I'm pretty good at reading the crowd, and if I see certain type of crowd, I think I think this is one of the trades where like you get to judge, people by their appearance and by their behavior. You're somewhat of a
Right. Yeah. You
of a
totally
of
have
a
to judge the crowd because you just have to look and be like, okay, who's got a cowboy hat? Like
yeah.
who's got what? And then, yeah, you just totally have
Right.
to
Yeah.
look out and
Yeah.
you
You have.
stereotype and you go, okay, this is the music, or you run a
Yeah.
poll or whatever. So,
It's
well,
okay to do that.
yeah, 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 exactly, exactly. Well, thank you, David, for that. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break and
Of course.
hear from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Evermore Wedding Vendor Directory and Story King Studios, our business video marketing company. Well, David, I'm sure that you probably have come up with some tips. For couples who are planning their wedding and looking for a DJ, if we're focusing on the wedding side, what might you say to couples who are planning a wedding looking for a DJ?
Yeah, of course. So I actually tell this to my clients or potential clients. Even if I'm booked, I try to leave them with some advice, and I tell them that when shopping around for DJs to not it does price doesn't mean that you're gonna get better, but a lot of the times it does. And there's a reason why some people are pricing themselves at that at certain range.
So
So I
basically you're saying you do get what you pay for, but not
mhm, for
always.
most of the time, yeah. So in order for you to kind of like verify that is what I do with myself is go and look for proof. Try to get proof of that DJ doing a great job. You know what I mean? Obviously, we're not perfect. We're gonna have good days, bad days, but in general, if you see a lot of gigs on someone's belt, like at least that they have some sort of experience doing what you want them to do, whatever your event would be. In this case, weddings. Make sure that the guy is doing a lot of weddings or that he has done weddings at least.
And where would you say couples go to look to find this proof?
Definitely, yeah. So look for social media. Sometimes if they don't have social media, they'll post videos. So have them send videos of maybe you're interested in their setup. Maybe you're interested in their MCing skills. MCing is also very important. So maybe watch a video of them, talking and introducing, doing introductions, stuff like that. So get proof. Get proof. Also get a contract. Get proof, get a contract, have visual proof of them, doing work. Make sure that you like their setup, and they don't show up with something that you don't like. And then also get the best you can afford. I know that you have a budget for everything, but if you try to cheap out on the DJ, that's probably gonna come back and maybe not be a great experience. It could be because at some point I was priced, pretty. I was I used to charge less and I was doing a pretty great job. But then, you have to move up and move up. I'm not saying that there are not good DJs out there that are also cheap, but generally speaking, there's a reason why some DJs kind of like charge a little bit more, and that's with experience and professionalism. So I do
Yeah,
give,
everybody has to get started somewhere.
mhm,
Excuse
yeah,
me. And like, yeah, everyone got started somewhere, and there's like this curve where it's like I'm cheap and I'm not good, and then I become good and I'm still cheap, and then I realize, oh, I'm good and I'm cheap, so I need to fix that, and then I raise my prices, and then it just keeps going and going.
yeah,
So yeah, it's one thing to tell couples like, well, you get what you pay for, but it's like there are people who are at certain points of that curve. But it can be hard sometimes to find the people who are just at that right point where like, hey, their quality's overshot their price, and they don't know it yet. Like it's hard to find those people and book them. So generally speaking, you do get what you pay for.
I'm one of those people right now. So I'm right
Well,
now. It's a
there you
it's a
go.
great time to buy, like a realtor will say. It's a great time to invest in DGO Entertainment because right now I feel like I do bring in a lot of value for my prices, and then we'll talk about that later. But
Well,
yeah,
I
man,
mean,
like
that's great. So let's just jump right into that. If
mhm,
couples are
segue.
looking for a DJ, what sort of price range should couples be looking to spend?
Yeah, so you're looking at somewhere between the 1500 and up. Depending on what it is that you like, we can make it happen. We do offer different services and packages, but most of the time it's more a la carte type of thing. So yeah, depending
So
on
so what's like a typical like if a couple's like, hey, we're getting married and we're looking for a DJ and we want kind of a typical and average sort of wedding, what's kind of a number couple should be thinking as they're budgeting for their wedding? What's kind of a typical DJ price?
yeah, it would be around anywhere from 15 to 2000 to 1500 to like around the 2000 um, range. To be more
Okay.
specific, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, perfect.
yeah.
I mean, it's helpful for couples to know
Hmm.
because sometimes, it's maybe, parents or, older sibling who got married 5 or 10 years ago and they're like,
Of
what?
course.
It should be 12.95, for a good DJ, and it's just like, well,
Hmm.
sure, 10 years ago maybe, but times have changed, prices have gone up, inflation's happened, like, you know,
Yeah,
prices are different.
yeah, definitely. And I did take into account, the competition and stuff like that. So I did do some research. It's just not some number that I pulled out of my, you know, right hand, right sleeve or whatever. So it is a well thought out price, based on a lot of things, that we take into consideration. It's not just something that we just come up with a number and then that's it, So we do look at the market. We do look at costs of everything, equipment, even just man hours being out there, And if you put it all together, once you add it up, if you really break it down, it's almost not even, it doesn't look like that much anymore. You know what I mean? So I think we're fairly priced, same with you guys, photographers and videographers, once you look at the whole bigger scheme of things, it does come out to about that much, and sometimes maybe even less, but you got to do what you got to do, and you got to price accordingly, I guess.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess in California, everybody's fallback is we can go make $20 an hour at McDonald's, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not me, not anymore, man. I'm staying away. Nothing against food, food workers and stuff. But I was a food worker for a long time. I worked at Chipotle, for like 10 years, and I became a manager and everything. And I'm like, okay, I've already done that. I think I can move on to new things. You know what I mean?
For sure. I don't think any of us want to quit our jobs doing something we love in this business and go do something we don't like, whatever it is. And some people love flipping burgers, so nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that, yeah.
I mean, hey, I like flipping burgers on the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Me myself. Too. I like eating them. Yeah,
that's right.
It's great to be doing what you like and being able to make a living out of it. It just makes you feel proud of yourself. And I think when you talk to people about it, hey, what do you do? It's like, oh, I'm a photographer, I'm a videographer, I'm a DJ. They're like, wow, that's cool. How much you make? And then you tell them, and it's like, oh my God, that's kind of cool, and that you can make a living out of that. It just inspires a lot of people to do certain things too. I don't know if that happens to you, but when you tell people, hey, this is what I do, I started like this and blah, 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 and then just inspiring people and stuff like that. It's just kind of cool.
Yeah, it is super fun. Well, in our last minute here, David, do you want to just drop a takeaway or a tip or something for people to kind of walk away with this conversation?
Yeah. I think if you about DJing, I'd say if you're looking for a DJ, it's almost like looking for anything else, any other vendor, somebody that you feel comfortable with. Don't hire somebody that you feel like, oh, did we make the right decision type of thing. Are we getting the right guy? If you don't feel that way, I get how you might have some doubts and stuff like that sometimes, but make sure that you consult your DJ as much as you want and as much as you can. Any questions that you have, don't be afraid to ask, just so that you feel right about that decision that you made, because at the end of the day, you're having a very special moment, maybe a once in a lifetime event. It's a wedding, quinceañera, whatever, but we're focusing on weddings, but it could be a once in a lifetime event, and you don't want to mess it up because you didn't maybe ask the right, the questions that you wanted to ask, or you felt a little bit, maybe not so sure about it. You can always ask questions, and then don't sign a contract until you feel 100% about that one DJ that you're trying to get. I advise that. Yeah.
Well, that is perfect, David. Your DJ is a partner on your wedding day, one of the key people, especially on the reception part of the day, sometimes the ceremony part as well, but especially the reception. DJ is key to that reception. So thank you for letting us get to know you a little bit and get to know each other. That was fun. And thank you for being on the show, David. If you liked today's episode, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on Apple iTunes and YouTube, where we have the video version of the show. Be sure to leave us a comment or review. Let us know what you liked, what you learned. And until next time, I'm Josh from Evermore Films. Be sure to tune in next week for another episode of the Evermore Wedding Vendor Show.